Today, I will be talking about the procedure and the methodology on how one can fine tune and shape their preparation. The first point that I wanted to cover today is why I use the word strategy. There is a basic difference in strategy and tactics. Strategy is characterized in the context of civil service, I would like to say on four aspects. One, it's a long-termish view. Many of the participants today are starting many years ahead. Some are in school, doing their school, some are in college, some are just about to attend the civil service examination the next few months. Therefore, everyone has to have a strategy of their own. For the current affair, it is very important that one has a long-termish view. If a person has civil service as a career choice, it would be desirable to start preparing for that right from the school days. And therefore, it's important to have a view on the long-term strategy. The second point is it's important to have a direction. It is not sufficient that every day we hear some news. Some days we write out some current affairs topics. That doesn't clearly work. It is important to have a clear direction, uh, which helps us in addressing the strengths and weaknesses. Every person, every aspirant, every person who has selected, every human being has a strength and has a weakness. It is important to understand what are our strengths and weaknesses. For example, for in my case, I felt that the areas of IT or economics or finance were my strengths. My weaknesses I understood was in geography, world geography, ancient history, and therefore, once we identify the weaknesses importantly, it helps us in fine tuning. Because in civil service, as all of us, if we delete or if we don't prepare for few areas, and to our bad luck, if those areas have a lot of questions that particular year, then we will be tremendously impacted. Therefore, it is important to have uh, the weaknesses addressed so that it is covered to the basic minimum level. I would like to put it as exceedingly strong in strengths and survive your weakness. So, even the weakest areas that one has, one should be able to answer the basic and average level questions. So, therefore, assessing one's strengths and weaknesses. Then, the fourth element of a strategy should be fine tuning between preliminary and mains preparation. The preliminary in GS part, particularly, we know that it is having a lot of stress on memory, a lot of stress on data and facts. If you look at mains questions, um, mains are more interpretational in nature. It is asking for analysis, asking asking for critical analysis, the weakness of some arguments, and so on and so forth. Therefore, one should have a judicious balance of preparing for preliminary as well as preparing for mains. I will touch on that as we proceed. So, the strategy, the word is characterized in the context of a civil service aspirant. I would repeat, one should have a long termish view. One should be clear in which direction one is going. It is important to have, when I say the direction, in simple words, it's like what I am going to do the next 1 month. Do I have a rough view? What are the areas I'm going to cover? Uh, Whereas a person without direction is like he will start, and then whatever comes to his or her view, they will start reading. That doesn't work. Addressing the weaknesses particularly and shining in one's strength and of memorizing the data and facts as well as preparing for mains. The second important aspect, once one settles in yes, deciding that civil service is a career choice, is that fine tuning the sources, right? When I look at sources, I would like to divide the current affairs into two sources. The first source is the regular sources, which everyone should have, in my view. The first one is newspaper. I would suggest standard English newspaper to be referred. The newspaper reading is very important, not like a layman issue, but from again a person who is able to critically diagnose the facts. For example, one should be able to read the editorials, the center page articles, the guest columns which are written by eminent people, experts, the columns which are written based on some awards, international happenings, historical happenings, national priority events, and things and so forth. Uh, the second category of a regular resource, I would say, is a monthly magazine. There are numerous monthly magazines which are there. For example, why I am saying monthly magazine is it is not humanly possible to cover 100% of newspaper every day, right? And even if we do cover, not every newspaper covers all the topics equally, right? And the extent to which the newspaper covers every topic also varies. For example, government launches a new e-governance project. Um, these newspapers would say, this is the name of the project which has been launched by so and so person. This tries to address the issues of A, B, C. That's all. Maybe we may find a basic information. But from the angle of a civil service aspirant, if we want to dig deep, we may not be able to find out the details of that particular scheme in the newspaper, because the newspaper is designed to cater to various audience, from a child to a very learned person. Therefore, it gives only small informations. On very rare cases on priority issues, as I had said earlier, it gives detailed analysis. Therefore, it's important to have one monthly magazine also, where the end of month everything is analyzed threadbare. For example, this is a scheme. It is there to address these factors. This is the objective, and this is how it will be implemented. Therefore, it becomes easier for us to understand that scheme and also use it while answering in the mains. For example, talking about e-governance itself, there may be past years there was a national e-governance scheme. Then we have Digital India scheme. Digital India has various pillars, from hardware to software to e-governance and so on and so forth. Uh, Whereas a factual question on Digital India may be there in the preliminary, in the mains the question may be as like how Digital India has helped in addressing the digital divide between rural and urban India. You know, so when we talk about a scheme in a context, that is Digital India, how to what extent it has addressed the digital divide between rural and urban India, we it is not important on knowing the facts of the scheme, but it's more important to interpret it. So we may have to give the data, as in, for example, the broadband connectivity. What was it in rural areas earlier? How it has improved? The internet connectivity, the mobile data connectivity, the telephone coverage, and so on and so forth. And talking about the e-governance schemes, what are the new e-governance schemes which have been launched by the central government, the state governments, the local governments, that is the panchayat municipalities, and so on and so forth. So therefore, a monthly magazine is important to understand that schemes in the entirety. I would also recommend an yearbook, maybe an India yearbook or Manorama yearbook. One should have one reference, and this is very critical because a lot of general knowledge related questions which are perennial are there in yearbooks. For example, we have the general knowledge questions which are generally there in the let us say schools, like what are the currencies of countries, what are the capitals of countries, what are the main exports imports, what are the major treaties which are existing, major international happenings in the past year, few details about the major science awards, major Nobel Prizes in the last few categories, last few years, and what for they have been given. So therefore, an yearbook becomes a very important guide for a aspirant. So I would once again repeat, one should have a judicious balance of a newspaper, a monthly magazine, and a yearbook. So it is a daily, monthly, and a yearly source, right? And in newspaper, one need not do an overindulge in a newspaper, say, because it is very easy to get lost while studying a newspaper. Particularly, we may find few things interesting, and we keep reading, and finally, you find that a couple of hours are gone. So it is important that we skim through a few topics, and topics which are not important, just ignore it and move on. Uh, the second category of sources, I would like to put them under news channel discussion. News channel discussions, I would strongly recommend the DD, Doordarshan, or Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha televisions, particularly the discussions on important national and international happenings or historical settings. These are important, particularly for mains and interview sections. Uh, because in an interview or in a mains, most of the questions are interpretational in nature, where one's views are asked, one is asked to diagnose. Therefore, one has to analyze the issues from all the perspectives. And that is what happens in a panel discussion. In a panel discussion, what happens is one person supports and gives reasons on why he or she is supporting that particular view. One person would say, no, one should not do that because of so and so reasons. So in a discussion, once they are active in listening to discussion, it is helpful in forming a view and appreciating the other view, why the other person is agreeing or not agreeing to a specific thought.